Alright, good afternoon. Welcome to Three Swords Gaming, and I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm doing a game review. So normally I've done playthrough stuff for either Guild Wars 2 or more recently Arknights Enfield. But I wanted to do a review of Neverness to Everness, or NTE, because it is a weird game. And I simultaneously don't like it very much, but also really like it and kind of can't stop playing it. So I decided, hey, I'm going to do a review and just give my thoughts on this game and why it is that there are things I really don't like and why it is that I just continue to play it anyway. So let's get right into it. I've tried to make this video several times and I keep either going too long or in the case of the first video I made, my thoughts at that time have significantly changed. So I want to give a more accurate rundown. So first of all, what is it? NTE is an open-world gacha RPG, so think Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves or Arknights Enfield or something like that. It is fundamentally the same. The idea is that you have this city out here. We can kind of look behind the MC and we can see this city. And it is a modern, relatively normal city, but with some very abnormal things taking place in it. Navigating it feels a little bit like Cyberpunk 2077, but some of the things happening in the city feel a little bit like Zenless Zone Zero or something like that. So you kind of end up with this, or even maybe a little bit like Enfield. Like you kind of have the hollow zones like Zenless Zone Zero, or the protocol spaces like Enfield, right? Something like that. And you have these anomalies, some of which are accepted in the city and some of which are a danger to the city, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the gist of what's happening here. Let's talk about the open world. So this, for me, is the most positive thing about this game and the reason that I continue to play. This city is extraordinary to navigate and play in and explore. It is beautiful, as you can see right now behind me, and it's beautiful to actually be in this city. They put a lot of work. There's a lot of attention to detail, a lot of interesting things happening, and it's not all like random sprites interacting with each other. Some of the things that are happening around you are very deliberately designed to be the way they are. So there was a level of effort put into this city, and actually I'm really impressed by that. When I decided to stop playing for some reasons that we'll get into here in a minute, I said to myself, well, I'm going to play just a little bit longer because I enjoy exploring the city, and I just gotten very lucky on pulling the Porsche. And now I didn't get lucky on the outfit that you can see. I ended up going all the way to the end to get the outfit. But I'd gotten very lucky on getting the actual Porsche very early on. And I was like, okay, I'm going to play a little bit longer to enjoy driving around in the Porsche. And then I liked the world that I was playing in so much I continued to play when I was planning on quitting. So the open world and everything happening in it, really awesome, extremely well done, like 10 out of 10 for me. Like really, I think they did as good a job as you can do in 2026 on something like that. I love it. The characters. So let's talk about the characters. And this is where we really start to struggle. And I'm going to go into outfits here. One, because we'll talk about outfits in a minute too, but also because going to outfits allows us to see characters that I don't have. And I want to talk about it. So we have this weird conflict in the characters. We have some really good ones. I actually think Zero here, which is the MC, is the best MC in any open world gacha RPG. I absolutely do. I like him in a lot. I like Belle in Zenless Zone Zero a lot. Now, Zenless Zone Zero is not really open world, but Belle is super adorable. I actually think Zero is better than either, and that's pretty high praise. Absolutely fantastic MC. Some of these other characters, like Daffodil, is actually pretty interesting. Hathor's design, at least, is pretty interesting, although thus far she's kind of a character without a personality. Mint has a ton of personality, just a ton of personality, although not my favorite character. So you have some characters that are at least good or interesting or whatever, and then you have characters like this guy or this guy that are just not likable. Like this guy, I can't even remember his name. He has no personality at all. There's nothing likable about him. He's just not engaging in any way, shape, or form. And I'm glad they have male characters. They're just not good.
I'm listening.
This guy is super, not just obnoxious, but like real creepy vibes, man. Real creepy. Now, they did just introduce a male character that apparently, from what I can tell, I haven't pulled for him, but from what I can tell, is both like interesting and engaging. And like, if you're into the husbandos, I guess, like, good to look at. And like, they introduced one good male character. But overall, when you look at this list of characters, as I scroll up and down it, you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6. Like, I like Lacrimosa, but she's kind of, I don't know. I got mixed feelings on Lacrimosa as well. Like, Chiz is pretty likable. But then you got so many other characters that are just kind of awful, and there's a group of characters that are really, really bad.
You need me to step in.
You have like this drunk stepmom, and then 1, 2, 3 kids that she's like taking care of, and that entire aspect of the characters and the story is atrocious, awful, really, 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 really bad. Just not good in any way, shape, or form. And so while we're talking about characters, I'll tell you that they are horrible as characters. When we get to the story, I'm going to tell you that the story is just awful in that domain as well. So just like we'll talk about in a minute with the story, the characters have a weird dichotomy. Some are good, some are bad. Okay, before we get to the story, since we're already on this menu, let's talk about the aesthetics. So it is very much a game that leans into the fan service, and you can see that with some of the outfits for the MC, where you got like the schoolgirl thing, and we got some other outfits that, you know, are relatively revealing, and then of course the Porsche outfit, which is fantastic. And you get that with you know, Mint here, where they go hard on that, and some of the other characters as well, right? So that's a thing. She doesn't have any. Haniel doesn't have any. Lacrimosa certainly has a whole variety of them. And that's fine. Like, I don't dislike it. Just know that it's a fan servicey sort of game. But it is well done. Like, they did a good job on them. Fairly impressive outfits. So if that's what you're looking for, like, they will absolutely nail it for you, right?
What should we do today?
I will say overall the aesthetics across the game, whether it's the vehicles, whether it's the environment around you, whether it's the enemies, like, it's a good looking game. And as we see, you know, if we back out of here for a second,
New day.
like, the environment, like the skybox, the water, stuff like that, really exceptionally good. So it bottom line, very good looking game. Okay, the story. The story is the weirdest thing in the world, I swear. And I don't mean weird like they tried to make it weird and that's good. There is some of that, but also weird like it is an unpleasant experience to go back and forth between really interesting, dark, compelling stories and this weird anime slice of life with really, really obnoxious characters. And that's like the kids and the drunk stepmom that I showed you before. And it vacillates between those rapidly and is very like off-putting and really it's like jarring. And even with like in the case of Nanalie, the same character will have both. Nanalie has one very, very interesting story segment, which is like her character story, that honestly I thought was fantastic. I thought Nanalie's character story was great. Although even in her character story, she's a bit obnoxious. But then everything else involving her is just bad to the point of being like toxic to play. So not good. And I know there's some folks who like it. There's some folks who really like they find it endearing or something. But I know I'm not alone in the camp of people who think that when they dabble in the slice of life stuff, it is incredibly cringy and annoying and like kind of gross and weird and not fun at all. They seem to have acknowledged that. Their most recent survey actually like addresses that a little bit and asks like, you know, which characters you find engaging, which ones you don't, and like kind of a little bit about like the story and how you engage with it. And I believe they even said in one of their like dev blogs that they were adjusting their approach to the story a little bit because some of it is just Not good at all. But it does also have like these very serious streaks and like a gothic horror piece that is really, really, really well done. Really enjoyable, really interesting, really engaging. I like it a lot. It's almost like they have two writing teams, and one sucks and one's really good. That almost would be the only explanation for the state of the story in this game. But there you go. If you're looking for a game with story, you can try NTE. You're going to like half of it, and you're going to hate half of it. And I'm not even going to tell you which half you're going to like or hate, but the two halves are so different, I have a hard time imagining that there's someone out there that, like, truly objectively enjoys both halves. Alright, the combat. Let's talk about the combat for a second. So, they basically took their combat system from Zenless Zone Zero. That's it. It's just like Zenless Zone Zero. With one notable difference. I don't think... Oh, this is a new character that... This is something really interesting they do. I was not expecting this. I have, like, my little, like, outline of things I wanted to talk about. This was not on it. I didn't know she'd be up here. This is a character that they have not released yet, and that we'll be able to pull for in a couple weeks, but they've already put her in the game so you can run into her randomly, even though you can't pull for her yet. And here she is up here. I don't think I can talk to her, though. I can clip it to her, but I can't talk to her, which is too bad. We would love to do that. She looks fantastic. I am absolutely going to pull for her. I'm not going to judge her choice of outfit. I'm all about it. It is certainly an experience. But overall, like, they just did a really, really good job on her. What I was going to say, though, combat. You can actually get into combat in this space I am on now. Now, look. Like, you can also go over the edge. So if you get in combat up here, and one of your big dramatic skills, like that one right there, causes you to go over this railing, you will go down. Or if you knock an enemy over that railing, they will go down and disengage from combat. So whereas Zenless Zone Zero has fundamentally the same system this game has, and of course Zenless Zone Zero had it first. Here, we'll come over here and talk. Oh, well, I mean, if you want to fly, I can just... Well, anyway. They have fundamentally the same system, but Zenless Zone Zero executes it in an arena where it's a controlled environment, and so neither the adversary nor yourself gets stuck behind an asset or falls off a ledge or starts climbing a wall or anything like that. In this game, all those things can happen in the middle of combat. And as a result, while I would say if you like Zenless Zone Zero's combat, you probably like combat in this game, that doesn't feel as good. So it ends up feeling more jank than Zenless Zone Zero. Just for that reason. It's almost the exact same system, but with less controls, which means you run into all kinds of weird problems. Okay, let's talk about progression. So, character progression fundamentally works the same as it works in all these games, right? You have your character level. You can see right now I'm at level 60, and that's the furthest I've made it on any character because it's taken me a hot minute to figure out character progression. These games always make things like really opaque. I don't know if they do that to promote monetization or if they think they're being creative or what it is, but it's always really hard to figure out how to advance your characters, at least for me. Fortunately, it works like all the other games, so if you're into other gacha RPGs, then you'll figure it out fast enough. Character levels. Here's your weapon. Apparently it's a CD in this game. This has to be leveled up separately from your character, of course. Then you have this. This is like your accessories. And I say accessories because, yes, it's one Game Boy. But this thing, and then each of these individual little pieces, has to be obtained and leveled independently. See all these little pieces, some of which I'm using, some of which I'm not. And of course, the extras that you have can then be used to level, as can a currency that you get for leveling these things also. But, like, that is quite obnoxious and not really fun to have to grind for all the stuff because you have to level each one of these things independently, but there you go. Why is it a Game Boy and not a accessory? Why is this a CD and not like a knife? I don't know, man. Because they think they're being clever. But there you go. Weapon, accessories, dupe system, skills. All the same things that you're going to have in all these games. Just with their own unique names and then weird ways oh, and now she's gone. for acquisition. So you see, like, instead of just saying this is to level your character, it's Houdini's magic stage. Instead of saying, let's see, this one is the one for your accessories, instead of saying advance your accessory, it's rabbit hole. Again, like opaque, unnecessarily so. That's not pleasing. I don't like that aspect of it, but the actual process of advancing those things is fundamentally the same as any of these other games. So, depending on how you feel about it in Wuthering Waves or Enfield or, Genshin or whatever, then it's basically the same here. Okay, minigames and currency. So, like the main currency in this game is called like fawns, I think, which is like dangerously close to funds, and I think that's like the joke, right? And all that is tied into like this tycoon system where you can advance your tycoon level, and there are awards associated with doing so, and et cetera, et cetera. So there are a few like key aspects to it. There's your cafe, which is like your consistent passive means of gaining fawns. I just gathered it a few minutes ago, so as you can see, I have very little here. But I would say in a 24-hour period, that tends to be like 55 to 60,000 that I get from that. And then you have all these different events that you can do to also generate fawns. You can join races and win the races to get currency. You can do these two things. This is delivery and this is being an Uber driver. Fundamentally the same thing, just with a different skin. But those are both fun things. Once a week you can rob a bank. It's sanctioned, so you don't go to jail for it, though there is a jail in this game. It's like a whole mini game. It's kind of fun. It's interesting. You should at least get the achievements from it. Fishing, of course, because what game doesn't have fishing in 2026? This is like a rhythm game. This is basically Tetris. Fight Club is exactly what it says. It's Fight Club. And Mahjong, right? So all these different things you can do to get currency. I doubt there are very many people out there who like them all, but you probably find one that you enjoy. I do like the driving ones. Quick note on the driving in this game, it's a lot of fun, but don't mistake this game for a driving sim. It absolutely is not. And the multiplayer driving is not necessarily fair. I generally avoid the PvP driving. I just do the driving. And while it's not realistic, it is quite a bit of fun. Also with the currency stuff, there are a couple of things. Of course, you can get a whole bunch of different cars. There's the Porsche, which made me quite happy. One of these days I should like paint it or something. Most of the cars in this game are very, very, very clearly modeled after a real car. Like the Porsche is actually a Porsche, right? That's a 918 Spider. You have what is very obviously a Mini Cooper, what is very obviously like an early 90s Volkswagen Jetta. I think that's probably a Ducati. Very obviously like G-Wagon-ish. And then some of the ones I don't have yet, like that's an AE86, right? Like it is nothing other than an AE86. That is a Dodge Charger. Cannot possibly be mistaken for anything else. That is a Porsche slant nose. That is a Porsche slant nose convertible. This is a little bit of a weird one because it's like two cars mixed together, where you it's mostly a Ferrari, but it also has like a little bit of a McLaren touch. That's a GTR, like with kind of a Lexus ass end on it. There's another weird one, McLaren ass end with Lamborghini front end, sort of. I don't remember seeing this one before. Oh, you can only get it with the bank robbery game. And that's like a Honda Element, right? Or a wheelchair if you really want a wheelchair. But yeah, you can get cars if you want cars. You can also get apartments. The apartments, once you, like right here, what that is other characters can move in, but like only the female characters, I think, and they will wear like their pajamas, like their Bond outfits. There is a Bond system, which of course there is, and when you get far enough Bond, then you unlock the Bond outfit, which again is like, in her case, it's like a button-up white shirt and panties. And she will wear that wherever you want once you get to Bond level 10. I believe it's 10. But that's what she's always wearing in your apartment. So there's that too if you're interested in that. So there's all like the little mini games. Okay, finally, last thing we're going to cover, and oh my gosh, I still ran 20 minutes. The gacha. So the gacha is not terribly punishing, relatively free-to-play friendly, and kind of wrapped in a fun little skin where you move across this game board, and whatever you land on, you get a thing. At the end of the day, there's still RNG right behind the scenes. It's just this is the skin they put on it. But it is kind of a fun skin your first couple times you roll on the gacha. I would say fundamentally it seems very free-to-play friendly, but actually I think it's probably right behind Enfield in terms of free-to-play friendly. And Enfield launched with slightly more characters available than this game did, so I actually think Enfield has a slight advantage in that area, but it's not bad in this game. One thing that this game does is it gives you pretty early on a selector, and then they're supposedly going to give another selector with the next patch, so that aspect of it is very nice for new players as well. So, you know, and like you see Daffodil on my list of characters there. Like, I got Daffodil with the selector, and that has been useful for combat situations. She's a good character to have in your team. So, okay, I think I've just about covered everything. I tried to do as fast as possible. Still managed to talk for 20 minutes because I just can't help myself. Do I recommend this game? Yeah, I have a lot of fun playing it, honestly. I have a lot of fun, like, running around the world and stuff. I just caution, some of the characters are just atrocious and horribly cringy. And the story, at times, is just the absolute worst. Like, there will be points in the story when you are wishing that you were playing Genshin's story instead. Because at least Genshin's story is, like, relatively compelling, even if it's childish. When this game goes childish, it's not compelling and it's childish. So that's like my caution there. But by all means, try it out. Okay, I kept it as short as I could. Still did a bad job. Thank you for hanging out. And when we come back in the future, we'll probably be back to getting on some of the playthroughs. Although at this time, I don't anticipate doing a playthrough of this game. Might still change my mind. We'll see. Okay, thank you, and you have a good one.